Colombia's decision to acquire the Gripen E and F is not simply a matter of replacing an aging fighter fleet, it is a structural shift in how the country intends to project sovereignty, maintain deterrence, and position itself within the evolving security dynamics of South America. The formal signing of the contract on the 14th of November 2025, valued at approximately €3.1 billion for 17 aircraft, marked one of the most consequential defense partnerships in modern Colombian history. It was not merely a transaction, but a strategic declaration that Colombia seeks modern air power tailored to its geography, its budget, and its long-term aspirations. The deterioration of the Kfir fleet created the pressure that ultimately forced this choice. After more than 4 decades of service, the airframes were reaching their structural limits. Maintenance cycles grew longer, costs rose sharply, and spare parts became increasingly difficult to source from Israel. Operational incidents, though limited, highlighted the risks of depending on a platform for which global support had largely faded. Colombia's vast and diverse airspace, stretching from the Andes to the Caribbean and deep into the Amazon, requires aircraft capable of sustained readiness. The Kfir could no longer provide that confidence. The Air Force faced a widening gap between mission requirements and available capability, and bridging that gap demanded a generational transition. When Colombia launched its formal evaluation process, it compared 3 contenders: the American F-16, the French Rafale, and the Swedish Gripen. Each option represented a different philosophy of air power. The F-16 offered global integration with United States systems, extensive munition compatibility, and predictable upgrade pathways, yet its long-term operating costs and political dependencies raised concerns for a country seeking strategic autonomy. The Rafale impressed with raw performance, advanced sensors, and high payload capacity, but its acquisition and sustainment expenses exceeded what Colombia could justify within its defense budget. The Gripen E and F, by contrast, presented a balanced blend of modern capability, low operating cost, dispersed basing flexibility, and industrial cooperation. Gripen's suitability became clearer as Colombia studied the aircraft in detail. Designed for nations with wide territory and constrained defense spending, the aircraft operates from short or improvised airstrips, requires small ground crews, and delivers competitive aerodynamic and electronic warfare performance. Colombia's combination of mountainous regions, jungle terrain, and complex coastlines demands an aircraft that can be deployed flexibly, refueled quickly, and maintained efficiently. Gripen fits these parameters. Its advanced radar, modern electronic warfare suite, and open architecture avionics enable continuous upgrades without prohibitive cost. The experience of Brazil, which operates the same family of fighters, further reinforced Colombia's confidence that Gripen could be supported within South America through shared logistics, training, and industrial cooperation. The financial dimension played a central role in the final decision. Although critics focused on the widely circulated figure of €184 million per aircraft, this number reflected the total package cost rather than a simple unit price. The contract includes weapons, simulators, maintenance infrastructure, training programs, spare parts, and long-term support. When amortized over 20 or more years, Gripen offers one of the lowest life cycle costs among modern fighters. For a country with a defense budget that cannot expand indefinitely, predictable and sustainable operational spending is essential. Colombia could not afford to buy a fighter that would strain its finances a decade into service. Gripen provided a platform that balanced capability with long-term affordability. Beyond the technical and financial considerations, political and strategic factors shaped the final outcome. President Gustavo Petro framed the acquisition as part of a broader effort to secure peace through deterrence. In his public statements following the signing, he emphasized that the aircraft were not purchased to exacerbate regional tension, but to stabilize national defense posture. Saab, for its part, described the deal as a gateway to deeper engagement in South America, building on its established partnership with Brazil. This regional cluster of Gripen users may evolve into a cooperative network that can share training, supply chains, and operational knowledge, reducing dependence on external markets. Inside Colombia, however, the contract triggered political debate. The Office of the Prosecutor requested an audit to verify transparency and ensure the accuracy of cost structures. Some opposition groups questioned whether the country should pursue such an expensive modernization program at a moment of social and economic pressures. Additional controversy emerged when certain commentators attempted to link the contract politically to individuals close to the presidency, though these accusations were publicly denied and lacked evidence. As more details surfaced about the contract's components, public opinion began to shift toward a more nuanced understanding. The debate remains active, but the strategic reasoning behind the choice is increasingly recognized. With deliveries scheduled between 2026 and 2032, Colombia is preparing for a gradual transformation of its air force. Pilots will transition to new simulators, maintenance crews will be trained under Swedish supervision, and operational doctrine will evolve to incorporate Gripen's strengths in situational awareness and electronic warfare. The ability to operate from dispersed locations will expand Colombia's resilience during crises. Interoperability with Brazil will further strengthen regional security frameworks, particularly in the Amazon and South Atlantic regions. Looking ahead to the period from 2030 to 2035, Colombia is positioned to field an air force far more modern, capable, and sustainable than at any point in its history. Gripen will provide a credible deterrent against illicit flights, foreign incursions, and emerging regional threats. More importantly, it offers a pathway for Colombia to develop a stronger defense industrial foundation, enabling deeper technical self-reliance. By choosing Gripen, Colombia has made a decision that balances sovereignty, budgetary discipline, and operational effectiveness. In the end, the selection of Gripen is not the pursuit of prestige, but the pursuit of stability. It reflects a sober understanding of Colombia's needs, a fighter fleet that can be maintained during lean years, upgraded without political dependency, and operated effectively across some of the most challenging terrain in the hemisphere. It is a decision grounded in realism, shaped by strategy, and aimed squarely at the future.